Hey guys, kia ora, kia ora, kia ora, whakalofa and no mai hoki mai. Welcome back to this week's podcast episode. As always, I am so grateful that you are here. And honestly, y'all, I have a confession to make. I have a confession. Last week's podcast episode, I watched it back and I was like, damn, there's a lot of scarcity in here. There's a lot of scarcity moves in here. And I'm going to be so real. And I know this is why you guys love me so much. It is because I am so real. I'm like, yo, nothing to hide here. I'm going to show you everything. I'm going to be so real with you. I was moving in a little bit of scarcity. I watched it back and I was like, oh, there's scarcity there. I was pointing it all out. And I want you to know that that's so normal. I also had the conversation with myself like, Leash, I get it. It's normal. It's normal to be scared to share your goals. It's normal to have a bit of self-doubt. You know, there were moments in that episode where I had thoughts of, you can't do that. What makes you think you can do that? You can't do that. What if you fail? And it's so funny because that's what I was talking about on the episode, right? But I want to be so real with you because I still struggle with a scarcity mindset. I still struggle with this shit. And it's actually something I'm so so aware of this year. Everything I say, the way I move, it makes sense as to why I have a scarcity mindset as well because of the way that I was brought up. And when I say scarcity mindset, for me in particular, it's around money and stuff. But, you know, scarcity mindset can be so many different things, right? But for me, it's, you know, the money mindset. And it makes sense because I grew up in, you know, government housing of, you know, food grants and stuff like that. It makes sense. You know, we never had enough. That was always the thought in my head and things like that. So that's one thing I'm really working on this year. And I'm really working on my scarcity mindset. But I wanted to come back on and do this episode again for my 2025 goals because I want to say these things with my chest. I want to say my goals with my chest. When I was watching the replay back last week, when I was watching my episode back, I was like, oh, my body language, there's a bit of scarcity in there. The things I was saying, the things I was skimming over, how I wasn't being very clear in what my goals were. So I was like, no, I need to come on, I need to confess, and I need to come back. So I want to say my goals again, and I want to say them with abundance and step into abundance. And I invite you to come with me and let's step into abundance and say our goals with our chest. Also, I printed out my goals. You know how I was saying how I got them. Like this year, I'm doing a bingo card. And once I accomplish them, I'm going to take a photo and put a Polaroid over. So I went and got these printed. It was $12. So I've got a personal one and then I've got my business goals as well. So one of my goals is to empower 50 women to step into their confidence and self-love through destination self-love. Now I've actually got it printed out here because this is going to be like a 5 in a row and then I give myself a reward. So I've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, right? So I've broken it down. Host your Safe Space Bikini event. So we've got that happening on the 23rd of February. Have an event in Perth and meet Ams and Sarah, who are the women I talked about, who are studying to become a life coach as well, and we did it together. Attend Kayla's business retreat. So she's actually my business coach at the moment. I want to attend her business retreat. Feature in a newspaper article. Coaching full time. Host a lingerie photo shoot. Wink, wink. I hope that didn't cringe you out too much if you can see me wink because I'm not that great at winking. But that's to come. Ran a podcast giveaway. So we had our giveaway last week. So that was one of them. Also, if you still want to win a book, please listen to last week's episode and enter. Host an event in Melbourne. Woo! 3 speaking events, host an event in New Zealand, host 3 online trainings. We actually did my first New Year, New Confident You workshop was this morning. So that was one of the free online trainings. If you want the replay, I'll link it in the show notes as well. So I got 2 more to do. Be a guest on 3 podcasts. I actually have another podcast I'm going to be on as well. So I'm excited. I reckon like these things, now that I'm saying them, I'm like, I think there's going to be more. Like it's going to be more than just 3. Hire a VA and outsource all editing. Yo, I have an update on that as well. I met with the beautiful Bella yesterday and we've locked in dates for her to take over my editing and things like that. So I'm excited for that. I have the bare bones for my book. I eventually want to write a book, and it's been so inspiring that my friends, people around me, people I follow and stuff have been bringing out books. And I'm like, yes, that's going to be me one day. So I'm going to have the bare bones for my book done this year, like an idea of what I want to do, what would be in it and stuff like that. And yeah, over time, I feel like I would just edit and change and things like that till it actually happens. Like I think another good thing about having goals is playing with ideas in the first place, right? Because you're putting it out into the universe, like playing with the idea that one day you might have a book, playing with the idea that you will find the love of your life, playing with the idea that you'll make $100,000 or $1 million or become a billionaire or whatever it is, right? You have to play with the idea in the first place. So yeah, I want to play with the idea because now that I am playing with this idea, I feel like things are showing up, and I've been like seeing, self-publishers like show up more on my Instagram and stuff like that. And it's like, do I want to be self-published? Do I want to sign with a book agency like Penguin and stuff like that? Like, what would I want to do? So yeah, playing with the ideas, feature in a magazine article, and then my engagement rates on Instagram. So I want them to go higher. So 5% engagement rate on Instagram, 10% engagement rate on TikTok, feature on TV. That was actually one I was scared to say last week because I was like, no, Liz, you can't do that. Who do you think you are? Nobody wants to see you on TV, all the things. Like this is the thoughts that came into my mind. And it's so normal. Like I said, we are wired to go to worst case scenario. But it's one thing that I do, and I always tell you guys to do this as well, is catch the thought. When the thought comes in, catch it and be like, okay, why do I think this way? Why? What's the reason? And then debunk it. No, I actually can be on TV. No, I am actually going to do this. No, I am really working through that as well. So y'all will see me on TV, hit $100,000 in sales for my coaching as well. And then 10,000 plays on the podcast. Whoop, whoop. That's exciting. So those are my business ones. And then I have my personal one. So $5,000 in savings. Model for a brand. So get into my modeling era. Work with Fate the label. Whether they send me some stuff or I don't know, go on a brand trip with them. How amazing would that be? Become a certified life coach. Bring Monique to Melbourne. So she's my only sibling that hasn't been to Melbourne. So I would love to bring her to Melbourne to pay for everything to allow her to have the time of her life here, all on my all on my card, my debit card. Clear debt. So that actually happened this week. Yeah, earlier this week. That one's done. Learn to twerk, y'all. I have been doing some very fun twerk classes on YouTube. It's so much fun. And I was actually twerking this morning and I'm doing making my smoothie. Skate every month. Work with Yiddy. So that's Lizzo's brand. That was one I was scared to say, whether they send me stuff or I don't know, I go on a brand trip for them. Like that shit's scary, but it's like exciting. Like if your goals don't scare and excite you, then what the fuck are you doing, right? Join a kapa haka rōpū. That fucking scares me as well. Learn Māori history. Make new friends who inspire me. Hula every month. 5 solo adventures, do a Europe trip, squat 100 kgs. I think I talked about these last week. Attend a pole dancing class, run 5 kilometers non-stop, move to a house by the beach, read 12 books, complete 5 kilometer marathon, learn a skate trick, which is the spinning that I am trying to learn, and learn New England history. So that's exciting. Now that I read over them, though, I'm kind of like, oh, I could do better. Like, I could do more. They may change throughout the year. And also, I want to say, like, don't be scared to change your goals throughout the year. If something doesn't align anymore, please change it. If you don't want to do that anymore, please change it. If you want to go bigger and bolder, like, I'm like, 3, maybe I'll do 5, maybe I'll do 10, change it. Don't be scared about it. And I'll tell you some stats actually. 80% of people get rid of, they stop, they feel like they've failed their New Year's goals by 80%, well, by February. So 80% of people don't, they stop their goals by February. They give up. That's the word I'm looking for. They give up on their goals by February. So please don't allow that to be you. So I want to end this podcast episode by asking you a few questions. Where have you been playing small? Oh, this is such a good question. I asked myself this as well. What goals have you been afraid to say out loud? What goals are you scared to say out loud? And when I tell people my goals as well, I always tune into how I am feeling. And I'm like, oh, what's that? What's that that's coming up? What's the doubt? What's the, when people make funny faces or whatever, or they say something, I remind myself, like, no, they think that way because they think they can't do it. Not that I can't do it, right? They can't do it. It's not a possibility for them. And what would it feel like to claim your goals unapologetically? What would it feel like to go, into social media and just be like, this is what I want from this year. This is what I'm going to do this year. These are the goals. These are the things that I am going to create. What would it feel like to put it on a podcast like I have and put it out into the universe, right? What would that feel like? And I really want to tune in at the end of the year to how I feel about this by the end of the year, because scarcity is something that I'm really, really like fully present, immersed in, trying to learn or unlearn my scarcity and move more into abundance. It's every morning reminding myself I am so abundant. When I'm too scared to pay for something, it's like, no, more money is coming to me, right? When I'm like, no, I can't move into that house by the beach because it's too much, I'm not going to be able to afford it. It's like, no, I'm going to create the money to get me into this space to, live the life of my dreams, all the things. So I will probably check in with you by the end of the year as to how my mindset is going with scarcity and abundance. And maybe you can think of something that you need to work on this year. And also, I usually do a word for the year as well. Something one of my coaches used to always say to do is, what's your word for the year? And my word for this year is to be fucking delusional. Like, be delusional. And what that means is that, whatever you think that you can do, you can fucking do. And whenever that scarcity mind comes in and says, no, you can't do that, it's like, no, Leash, remember, be delusional, because your mind thinks you are delusional. And sometimes you do have to be delusional. You have to believe in things that you haven't seen yet. You have to believe that you can do things that you've never done yet. Maybe you do need to be delusional, right? So that's what I mean by be delusional. It's like all the things that I come up with, all the ideas, all the things that I want to do, all these crazy things that people say you can't do. It's like, no, you can do that, Leash. Like, be delusional, go for it. So what's your word for the year as well? But that's the podcast. I just wanted to come on and I wanted to I wanted to confess that last week I was actually in a little bit of scarcity, and that's okay. And that's normal. But I saw it and I caught it and I was like, no, I'm going to redo these goals and I'm going to say it with my chest. And you heard me today. I said it with my chest, right? I put it out there into the universe. It is happening. I feel good. My energy was good as well. Last week, my energy was a bit off. It's like, I don't want to put that scarcity energy into the world. I'm putting that abundance energy. I'm putting that belief in myself. I'm like putting it out there like, yo, I'm going to fucking fucking do this and watch me do it. Watch me conquer my dreams. And actually, I'm even like, after this episode, I'm like, damn, I hype myself up so much. I'm like, I think I need to change my goals. I need to put mine like times more. I can do that, and I can do more, and I can do this and that and this. Like, I am so excited for 2025. And I've already started breaking down my goals into the monthly goals as well, and I am right on track. We're about to end January. January, why am I saying January like that? But we're about to end January. Like, how are you going? Have you already given up? Have you not even started? It's never too late. Start now. Please don't give up. Maybe you need a day off. Maybe you need a week off. But try again. Get back up. Try again. If first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again. You can dust yourself up and try again. Try again. Try again. I love you. Ka kite. Koikia.